The Ford Mustang was not the only thing revealed in Michigan. Our NASCAR and NBC reporter Nate Ryan joins us now. Nate, you spoke with Tony Stewart at the unveiling shortly after he spoke with Marty. What did he tell you?
He told us, Carolyn, that he wants to run the Indianapolis 500 again, and it could happen, it sounds like, as early as next year. And it's significant for two reasons, Carolyn. One is that words can't explain how much the Indianapolis 500 means to Tony Stewart. He's been attaining that race for more than 40 years, since he was a child. It's the race that he wants to win more than anything else in the world, and he's come close in 5 previous tries. And the other reason it's significant is that Tony has downplayed this. The last time he ran the Indianapolis 500 was in 2001, and we gradually just stopped asking when he was going to run this race again because he's just been downplaying it so much. We didn't think that he would ever open the door to running the Indy 500 again. So that he's telling us today that this isn't out of the question, and it sounds like it's something he'll be exploring for next season. That really makes it very significant that we could see him in this race next year.
Nate, with that in mind, why do you think the timing is right now for him?
I think that confidence is really key to Tony Stewart, much like any driver, Carolyn, and he's got his swagger back. This is his second year out of NASCAR since retiring from Cup. In his first year, he thought he was doing a lot of dirt racing. He only ran 45 races last year because he struggled a lot in trying to adapt back to sprint cars. This year, he's already run 62 sprint car races, and he told us that he just feels more and more confident every time he is in the car. So I think he's just looking for new challenges now that he feels as if he's gotten back the confidence that wasn't always there in his last 2 seasons in Cup. All that being said, though, Kellen, he isn't going to go into this cold. He did tell us that if he runs the Indy 500, he wants to run at least 1, maybe 2 IndyCar races to knock the rust off. He cited Danica Patrick, who kind of parachuted into the Indy 500 as an example of what he wouldn't want to do. He would want to get up to speed and go into that race feeling as if he could be a contender and feeling as if he could win it. He also needs to find a team and a sponsor, of course, but one-offs are not unusual at the Indy 500. The last few years, we've seen Danica Patrick and Fernando Alonso from Formula One attempt this race. So I think if Tony Stewart wanted to do it, we could see him in 2019 Indy 500.
All right, so a bit of news that we didn't expect from today's reveal. Nate, thank you. Kyle, want to welcome you into this discussion. What is your reaction to Tony Stewart's interest in the Indy 500?
Yeah, I think Nate said it best. Words can't describe what Indy means to Tony Stewart. That's where he grew up. That's where he wanted to be. That's where he was. We were very, very fortunate in stock car racing and NASCAR to pluck him out of the IndyCar series and bring him over here and have him be such a great ambassador, such a great champion for our sport. I will say this. I do like what he says about going in and running additional races before he runs Indy. And I think that shows his respect for the sport. That shows his respect for Dixon and Newgarden and those guys. That shows that he respects those drivers, that he doesn't believe that he can just go in and cherry pick a race from those guys, especially the Indy 500, that he has to be at the top of his game too. So I like he's saying all the right things. Obviously, he's got to get back in race shape. And there is such thing as race shape. And it's not a physical look. It's not whether you're overweight or underweight. It's just race shape. It's being in a car, running miles, understanding what it does to your body over a 300 or 400 mile period. And I don't think you get that running sprint cars. He's going to have to run a couple of races to get back in race shape.
Kyle, just quickly, going back to Marty's interview with Kevin Harvick as well, it stuck out to me that Kevin mentioned the word commitment when he talked about the unveiling and the new Mustang. How much do you think that matters to Kevin Harvick? What's your interpretation of what this moment means for them moving forward?
Everything for them. I think those guys, Kevin, he drove for another manufacturer his entire career until he went to Stewart-Haas Racing and made that commitment to Tony and made that commitment to the Blue Oval and Ford. And I think when he talks commitment, the commitment that the Blue Oval, that Ford has to that race team, and what Kevin Harvick's commitment is, that they listen to what he has to say, they listen to what the drivers have to say, and he sees Ford as a true part of their race team, not a manufacturer, not a guy or not a group that's just, hey, we'll give you some engineering. I think he looks at that commitment from Ford as a true partnership and a true alliance.